Are you wondering how to set boundaries even when you're a people pleaser? Hey, I'm Antia Boyd, creator of the Magnetize The Man Method, and I'm telling you, today I'm going to give you some unexpected tools and tips that will get you not only out of people pleaser zone, but also in boundarylicious land. So let's go ahead and get started, because when you set boundaries, you get to own your power, girlfriend. Yeah, that's right. So tip number one, when you're a people pleaser, is really bringing the energy back to yourself, right? If you have a hard time setting boundaries, it's because you're in somebody else's energy field, right? And what that means, you're anticipating how they're feeling, if they're gonna be angry about it, if they're gonna be disappointed about it, because it's gonna be like either aggressive towards you, right? So you think like you're gonna get attacked, or it's gonna be actually like you feel guilt, right? So that's a passive way of that, right? So bring the energy back to yourself and ask yourself, how am I feeling, right? Tip number two on how to set boundaries even when you're a people pleaser is really making sure that when you're people pleasing, you really want to connect in an authentic way. So look, when you set boundaries, people actually trust you, they respect you, and long term they will actually like you better. You know why? Because they will know, okay, you know what, like I actually want to set boundaries too. So actually, Shelly or Susie or whoever is actually just like me, right? Like now I get to set my boundaries too. So long term, they will actually love you more, right? And I cannot tell you, they have so many examples in my own personal life where I set boundaries, where I said no, right? Like I'm not gonna do this, right? I don't agree with you. And I got such a positive response, such a yes energy. And also, it felt really like a grounding energy, right? Like as if something is like reinforcing my energy, my body, my mind, my heart. And then because of that, it reinforced the connection I then also had with the other person, with the other man. And tip number three that you will probably not have heard about, that really helps you on how to setting boundaries, right? Even when you're a people pleaser, is make friends with guilt. Okay, so wow, this is such a huge topic. Let me tell you about it, because guilt is actually shame in disguise, right? So it's really funny. Actually, oftentimes we don't feel guilt, right? Actually, guilt is the ego's way into tricking you into thinking that you have morals, so then that way you don't have to feel the shame, right? So you have to understand, what is my shame shield? Because look, when you own your shame, right? If you're like, okay, my shame shield is attack, for example, I will just say that right away, right? Then you actually are no longer afraid of everything that could lead to guilt, also known as shame, right? Because like I said, guilt is oftentimes just to disguise, because we rather feel guilty because then we feel like we did something wrong, right? I said the wrong thing, right? I offended the other person, whatever the case may be, rather than, right, saying I am wrong, right? Like when we feel shame, that actually means we don't have a right to exist on this planet. We should not even be here, period, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, right? So of course, the more favorable emotion would be guilt, right? So once you overcome that, once you actually go to the root of it, which is shame, oh my God, I'm just giving you, this is like the golden nugget. If you just get that right now, the importance of that, like to ownership of shame, I would say from shame to shine, because when you own your shame, when you own that shadow, right, you actually get to evolve into your gift. Right, you actually get to self-actualize, stand into your full power, and own all of who you are, and have no longer the fear to be called out as being selfish, arrogant, greedy, a bitch. I mean, whatever it is, right? Because now I'm at the point where I'm like, call me everything. I'm so excited about it. I'll like thank you for it. Thank you for reinforcing that inside of myself. All right, so let's summarize the 3 tips on how to set boundaries even when you're a people pleaser. Tip number 1 was actually bringing the energy back to yourself, being in your body, feeling your feet on the ground, right? Feeling your butt on the seat. Make sure you're in your body, right? Tip number 2, actually knowing that long term, you're more likable because you build deep, authentic relationships that are very, very powerful. And tip number 3 is actually looking what is really about it, is about you don't want to feel the guilt, and actually even deeper than that, you don't want to feel the shame, right? So overcoming all of that. So if you're like, gosh, Antia, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what my shame shield is. I'm terrified to lose a connection because I set boundaries, because I rock the boat, right? Because I don't feel worthy, right? Unless I get the approval from the other person. I invite you to come on a Magnetize the Man clarity call with me, where we get crystal clear on what is that internal dialogue inside of yourself. When are you disassociating emotionally from certain charges that you have, from certain shadows and stories and judgments that you have inside of yourself? When are you checking out, right? I call it chunking up, right? When you become more abstract and actually lose power because you diffuse your power, right? And what can you do to come fully back into your body, right? Back into your truth and back into your own alignment, right? So for that, hop on over to magnetizetheman.com and grab your slot, get your gold nuggets right there, and change your life. Girlfriend, I'm promising you, your life will never be the same. I have women crying on the calls. I have women have breakthroughs on the calls. I have women laughing on the calls because they have breakthroughs right there and then, and really seeing what the truth is underlying. Because look, we are lying to ourselves, right? We're forgetting who we really are. We're forgetting our